Once upon a time, in a distant village, there stood a large farmhouse with a mysterious and eerie reputation among the villagers. Our story begins on a dark night in this farmhouse. A group of brave friends cautiously made their way towards the farmhouse. The moon was hidden behind the clouds, and the sky was covered in a terrifying silence. The farmhouse stood quietly at the edge of the forest, surrounded by shadows, as if telling an old tale of its own. The youngsters opened the creaking door with careful steps. As the door swung open with a faint squeak, it seemed to shake the entire forest with the eerie sound of its ancient hinges. Stepping inside, they were greeted by the flickering light of dim lamps. The furniture was covered with sheets, and what was once a lively place now felt empty and desolate in the silence. The hearts of the youngsters began to beat rapidly, but their curiosity overshadowed their fear. As they entered a room, they noticed the door to an old piano room. The door opened silently, revealing a room covered in dusty sheets. Suddenly, the keys of the piano started playing on their own, creating a haunting and melancholic melody that filled the room. The hearts of the youngsters skipped a beat, but they found themselves unable to leave the room. Suddenly, a pale figure emerged from the shadows, a woman dressed in attire from a bygone era, with a pale face and lifeless gaze. The youngsters learned that the spirit haunting the farmhouse was a woman who had disappeared years ago. That night, the farmhouse seemed to communicate with its own past. The spirit shared a forgotten story with them, and then disappeared into the shadows. The youngsters never forgot that night. The farmhouse retained its mystery, sinking back into silence, but the tale became a legend among the villagers. People still believe that the lonely farmhouse is filled with ghostly figures at night, and no one dares to visit that old house.